All right, today we're diving into one of the most brilliant and, let's be honest, beloved forces in Vedic astrology, the planet Venus, also known as Shukra. This is the planet that's all about our ability to love, our desire for beauty, and our search for comfort. Basically, all the good stuff. So let's explore what makes it so significant. But before we even get into the astrology, just look up. Venus is a physical marvel. It's that super bright point of light you see hanging out in the sky, either right before the sun comes up or just after it sets. It is by far the brightest object up there besides the moon. It's so bright you can sometimes even spot it during the day if you know just where to look. And that intense physical brilliance, that's really the key to understanding its symbolic power. So in the Vedic tradition, Venus is called Shukra. And this name, well, it tells us a whole lot about what this planet is all about. The name Shukra itself has this really fascinating double meaning. First, it literally translates to white, which makes perfect sense, right? It's the brilliant white planet in the sky. But it also means semen, the life-giving essence itself. The ancient logic here is just so elegant. Just as Venus is the most potent, powerful light in the sky, this essence is seen as the most potent substance in the body. Brightness equals potency. And you can even see this theme of potency in its rhythm. Over about 584 days, Venus does this dance where it disappears and then reappears, switching between being the morning star and the evening star. This whole cycle of cosmic death and rebirth, well, that's the key to one of its most powerful myths. And this brings us to an incredible story that explains exactly where Shukra gets its unique power from. It's a myth all about trial, endurance, and an unbelievable rebirth. So the story goes that Shukra, in a seriously bold move, decides to challenge the supreme god, Lord Shiva. And Shiva's response? He just swallows him whole. For what's described as 100 divine years, a long time, Shukra has to endure being inside the cosmic belly of a god. But here's the amazing part. He doesn't dissolve. He survives. And eventually he emerges, completely reborn and transformed. So what's his reward for going through all that, for his endurance? Shukra is given a power that no other celestial being possesses, the secret knowledge of how to bring the dead back to life. I mean, that is the ultimate symbol of regeneration. And here is where it all clicks. This myth isn't just a fantasy story. As Robert Swoboda explains, it's actually ancient observational astronomy. The people telling this story were watching the sky. They saw Venus as the evening star dip lower and lower each night until it finally vanished into the sun's glare. It was swallowed by the sun, who in this story is Lord Shiva. Then, after being invisible for a while, it's reborn on the other side of the sun as the morning star. The myth perfectly describes what's really happening up there. This power of rebirth really shapes how Venus works in the world. It doesn't operate with brute force. No, it's much more subtle. It's all about attraction and influence. You see, in the mythology, Venus is the teacher of the Asuras, these incredibly powerful beings, kind of like titans. And you just can't command a titan to do something. You can't force them. You have to influence them, persuade them. And that requires a very different kind of power. And here's the perfect way to think about it. Contrast Venus with Mars. Mars is the warrior, right? All about force, action, direct conflict. Venus is the diplomat. Its power is in charm, grace, beauty, and persuasion. It doesn't need to fight because it attracts, it fascinates, it inspires. It wins you over without you even realizing there was a contest. So, what parts of our lives does this planet of charm and attraction actually rule over? This is where Venus gets really personal for all of us. Venus has a huge and pretty wonderful domain. We're talking love and relationships, especially marriage. It rules over all things beautiful, art, creativity, aesthetics. It represents our desire for refinement, for comfort, for luxuries, everything from nice clothes to beautiful cars. And of course, it signifies passion and our capacity to truly connect with other people. So when Venus is strong in someone's astrological chart, it points to a great capacity to both give and receive love. It brings with it this natural appreciation for beauty, a good sense of style, and just an innate refinement. It's the part of all of us that seeks harmony and grace in the world around us. Now, let's get even more specific. The ancient texts give us an incredibly detailed way of looking at how a planet's energy might show up in someone's life, and it's not always so straightforward. To get this, we have to understand the term avasta. It basically means a planet's state or condition based on where it is in the chart. Think of it like a mood. You're still you, but you act totally different when you're happy versus when you're tired or angry. Well, planets are the same way. Their mood changes how they act. So, for example, the texts say that if Venus is in a state of brightness, let's call it a great mood, its influence is magnificent. That person might become like royalty and be incredibly skilled in the arts, like poetry and music. This is Venus at its most radiant. But check out what happens when Venus is in a state of sleep. The expression completely flips. The person might still be heroic, but also really talkative, restless, and always wandering. That smooth grace and refinement get replaced by a kind of unfocused, scattered energy. And here's one more powerful one. If Venus is in a state of being in an assembly, it can bring incredible social success and wealth. We're talking about gaining high status in powerful circles, the modern-day king's court, and becoming as wealthy as Kubera, the god of wealth. See? It's all about the specific condition of the planet. And this helps show how Venus expresses itself in different parts of life, or houses. In the second house, it brings a love of family and sweet speech. In the fourth, it's about our love for home, our car, our comforts. The seventh house is its home turf, the main house for marriage and relationships. And pretty profoundly, in the 12th house, it can even point towards spiritual liberation, or moksha. But we have to talk about the shadow side. The same energy that gives us a love for beauty can, if it's not kept in check, lead to just pure indulgence. There's a warning about a negative Venus that can pull us into this kind of shallow materialism, where it's all just about pleasure for its own sake, and that can become a real trap. And that really leaves us with the central challenge of Venus. It offers us some of the absolute greatest gifts in life: love, art, comfort, connection. The question it asks us is, can we enjoy these gifts with grace and gratitude, or will we get trapped by our own desires? How we answer that question really defines a relationship with the brightest star in our sky.